So hello students, we are back with another topic of class 7 textbook. Now we will discuss about medieval history. So basically the first question arises, what do you mean by medieval history? So basically history is divided into three phases. First the ancient period, second medieval period and the third the modern period. So we will talk about today about medieval history. So the medieval history period stretches from 8th century AD to 18th century AD. Basically, that's we called them as a medieval period because lot of Delhi Sultanate and the Mughal empires, basically of the Chola dynasty, various several dynasties came into this period, which called them landmark of the history. So next we will discuss about the features of medieval history. Basically, now we will discuss about the features of the medieval history. Number one feature is the medieval history is divided into two phases. Basically, the one the early period, and the second the later period. Early period, what do you mean by early period? Early period is nothing but early period is the starting phase of the medieval history, that is 8th century, and the later period is the ending period of the medieval history, that is 18th century. Number two, there were a lot of foreign culture influence. Foreign culture influence means there were a lot of globalization of different nations coming up to India. Basically, अब देखिए, basically there are a number of dynasties and Mughal empire which came to India and implemented their policies. Number three, there were the rulers of the Delhi Sultanate and the Mughal empires. Basically, rulers of the Delhi Sultanate, basically they were the Delhi Sultanate also considered as under the mixture of combination of several dynasties, basically the Tughlaq dynasty, the Sayyid dynasty, the Khilji dynasties, and basically ample number of dynasties which established in Delhi Sultanate at 12th century AD. And when we talk about the Mughal Empire, who was the first Mughal Empire which came to India? Mughal Emperor which came to India, that is Babur. It started from 1527. He defeated Ibrahim Lodi in the Battle of Plassey, 1527. Our four feature is about there were a lot of sufficient information. Basically, what I mean by this feature, बेसिकली हम लोग को अलग अलग तरीके से एविडेंसेस मिलने लगे, हिस्टोरियंस को और ज़्यादा आसानी होने लगी हम लोग की हिस्ट्री एक्सर्वेट और एग्जामिन करने के। तो बेसिकली यही मतलब है कि हम लोग को सफिशिएंट इंफॉर्मेशन मिल लगी बिकॉज ऑफ द वेरियस सोर्सेज, आर्कियोलॉजिकल सोर्सेज, कॉइन्स एंड बेसिकली इंस्क्रिप्शंस, मॉन्यूमेंट्स, इस सब की वजह से हमें बहुत सारी सफिशिएंट इंफॉर्मेशन मिलने लगी। Number five is there were many countries who were brilliant, who were impressed by the India economy at that time. India was very well furnished or called as the most wealthy nation of that time. Now we will discuss about the archaeological sources. We will discuss about the archaeological sources. So as you know, archaeological sources is basically the what do you mean by archaeology? Archaeology is nothing but the examining and excavating the remains or the burials of the peoples of that time. So number one archaeological source is inscription. So you know the inscription is basically written relatively on the hard surface. Basically वो तो hard surface पे लिखा जाता था या खुदवाया जाता था राजा द्वारा. Basically monuments, mosques, temples and various type of stones यहाँ पे खुदवाया जाता था ताकि हमारा यादगार as a landmark आगे जाके contemporary इंडिया में हमको याद किया जा सके. नंबर 2 हम बढ़ते हैं coins की तरफ. As you know, basically numismatics, basically the word you remember, numismatics, basically called a study of coins. As we have done yesterday, we deal with epigraphy, which is called the study of inscription. So numismatics is the study of coins. So the rulers of that time issued both gold and silver coins because in the coins they portray their statues in their coins. So basically they remember them in the future period. Dravya Pariksha is the most important book which changed the revolution of coins at 12th century, which was solely written during of the Alauddin Khilji. Number 3 is paintings. As you know, there were a lot of painters, basically Leonardo da Vinci, who painted Mona Lisa. Basically, there were a lot of paintings which were started and coming up in the medieval history. So medieval history is all about paintings and all about revolution. Monument and buildings. As you know, monuments, basically the Agra Fort, Taj Mahal, they were built at that time during the Mughal Empire, and basically the Qutub Minar was built by Qutbuddin Aibak at the Delhi Sultanate. So now we will discuss about the literary source. So now we will discuss about the literary sources. After the archaeological sources, we should also not forget about what is written in the paper or what is written in the manuscripts. So now we will discuss about the literary sources. So literary sources is divided into two parts. First, the indigenous, as you know, are Indian, and the next part we will discuss about the foreign sources. So when we talk about the indigenous sources, the first thing strike in our mind is manuscripts. You know what do you mean by manuscripts? Yes, it is the handwriting in the palm of leaves or the skins of sheep, basically. That's we call them regarded as a manuscripts. So basically आप लोग जान रहे होंगे कि manuscripts को बनाए कैसे थे भाई ये क्या है manuscripts कैसे बनाया जाता है तो basically manuscripts was made by two materials. Number one is the palm of leaves and the number two is birch. So the birch is a type of material which was found in the Himalayas at that time. And we started using paper first time in the 13th century. Basically, 13th century we regarded as them as a chronicle. So you will also confuse what you mean by chronicle. Chronicle is nothing basically the biography or autobiography of the king who ruled at that time or at that century. Okay, so there were a lot of chronicles which was established or which was written during the medieval history. Basically in Delhi Sultanate we will think about there were lot of basically the Persian, Arabic and Turkish. There were three type of languages it was written. Like for example Vikram Deva Charita, basically this was a biography of the Vikramaditya king, and the number two is the Prithvi Raj Raso by Chandra Bardai, it was the biography of the Prithvi Raj Chauhan. And the number three basically the Ane Akbari. Ane Akbari you all know basically the biography of the Akbar. So there were a lot of biographies of the king which was written by himself or they can assign into the other people who write on behalf of them. Okay, so basically now we will discuss about the foreign sources. So now we will discuss about the literary sources. We will discussing about the literary sources and now we will discuss about the foreign sources. So as you know we discuss about the features of the medieval history. I taught you about there were a lot of foreign culture influence. So there were a lot of foreign culture or lot of foreign individual which came to India and changed the landmark of the country. So number one is the Marco Polo. Marco Polo was a traveler from Venice who came to India in the 13th century and he visited the southern Pandya kingdom and he also visited Varangal. Number two is all about Ibn Battuta. He was a Moroccan traveler who was in the reign of Muhammad bin Tughlaq, who wrote about the biography of the Muhammad bin Tughlaq. Number three is all about Niccolo de Contact. Niccolo de Contact. It is a French traveler who wrote about the Vijayanagara. You know what is Vijayanagara? Vijayanagara was an empire which was situated at the present day Madhya Pradesh. So students, we came to the end of this chapter. In this chapter, we have discussed about basically the introduction or the little part of the introduction to medieval history. We discussed about archaeological sources, literary sources, and we discussed also about a little bit about the basically the Delhi Sultanate and the Mughal Empire. So in the next video, we will discuss and come with a new topic. So stay tuned with me.